morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Hafil. I'm coming from Indonesia, and I'm very delightful to be here to share my dissertation finding. And hopefully, after this class, you will have a more insightful idea to choose your own topic. I was supervised by Dr. Zia Wadud, and my title is The Impact of Motorcycle E-Hailing Services on Motorcycle Ownership in Jakarta, Indonesia. So, Jakarta is the capital city of emerging country of Indonesia, the fourth most populous country in the world, and the 10th of the largest economy in the world. But unfortunately, Jakarta is still struggling with to accommodate the public transport. As you can see here, the public transport ridership is reduced by half from 2010 until 2019. And those gap is filled by the private vehicles, and it equal with 20.7 million trips per day. And as you can see here, from the whole number of motorized vehicle, motorcycle is the dominating choice, and that's why Jakarta is called motorcycle city. In the national scale, we can see that Jakarta as a province, as a capital city, is the engine of Indonesian economy. And that's why Jakarta is the leading province contributing for the growth of the economy. And it's also shown by the number of motorcycles. As you can see here, Jakarta is ranked as the first province that contributes to the total motorcycle number. It equal with 16.9 million units. It's a humongous number. And from 1995 until 2019, the vehicle membership of especially motorcycle is dynamically changing, but the trend is shows significant positive trend. And what is the impact of that number? Those numbers will come with that externalities coming from traffic, safety, and environment. From the traffic aspect, Jakarta was ranked as the 10th for the worst city in the traffic based on TomTom Traffic Index in 2019 among 416 cities in the world. And in the 41 main road, protocol road in Jakarta during 2019, the average speed only 25.82 km per hour compared to London, for example. London have 28 point something km per hour. And not mention financial losses due to traffic in 2018 equal with 65.7 trillion rupiah. In the aspect of safety, the number of victims from the accident involving motorcycle is growing 10 times higher in 2016 from 2001 level with 3,000 victims. And the financial losses caused by the accident are equal to 13 billion rupiah. From the environmental aspect, the motorcycle accounts for 44.530% from the total vehicle emission in Jakarta. And it was ranked as the most polluted city in Southeast Asia based on PM2.5 parameter with 45.3 microgram per meter cubic with status of unhealthy for sensitive group. Knowing that bad externalities, the concern of number of motorcycle is increasing with the introduction of motorcycle e-hailing services. Maybe you will not relate with motorcycle, but in Indonesia, it's like Uber but using motorcycle, and it's very common and very popular. It is introduced by Gojek in 2015 in January. 4 months later, Grab released its own service with the name of Grab Bike, and the leading player, Uber, is also playing in this market with the same service. And the trend is keep increasing and becomes bigger and bigger. As you can see from the current situation of the transport network company, we have duopoly here, Gojek and Grab playing in the market. You can see the business valuation is reaching 10 billion US dollar. You can see the number of applications downloaded by the user is more than 160 million, and they are already serving more than 200 cities in Indonesia. And still, Jakarta is their main market, with the driver is located there about 25% and concentrated in Jakarta. And then, what is the question and what's the urgency to take this study? So basically, I want to see how significant the impact of motorcycle e-hailing services on motorcycle ownership in Jakarta. I want to see how is the correlation between those variables. And I want to see the other factor that may influence the motorcycle ownership in Jakarta, because so many factors that may influence the number of motorcycle. I want to see also the significance of each factors with the motorcycle ownership, how they correlate each other. And the last, I want to set some strategy and policy to follow relationship between them. And it's very important because the previous research talking about vehicle ownership is very limited. As you can see here, there are several researches, and it's dominated by cars as object. Motorcycle is only studied by my supervisor, Jawadut. He took the study from the Bangladesh, Dhaka, but yeah, the rest is cars. And I want to study from the object of motorcycle because it's very related with my country. And to do this, I deploy some econometric model. Maybe on the previous session you heard about econometric something. I want to see the relationship between the influencing variables. So I choose real GDP per capita, real fuel price, number of bus fleet, length of road, and I take another dummy variables than motorcycle e-hailing services, like 1999 policy packages, 2012 policy packages. So basically, those policy packages may influence the number of motorcycles in Indonesia during the period of 1995 until 2019. After that, I deploy interrupted time series analysis. Basically, the interrupted time series analysis is analysis using some interpretation variable. On this case, is 1999 policy packages, 2012 policy packages, and motorcycle e-hailing services introduced in 2015. So after that, I want to see the correlation with the segmented regression analysis, and I want to see the forecast with the ARIMA, with the scenario without putting the motorcycle e-hailing services on the forecast. And let's see how it will reduce or increase the number of motorcycles in Indonesia. So this is my variable. I want to find my dependent variable is motorcycle per capita per 1,000 people. Sorry, and then the independent variables, as I mentioned before, you can see here, and those data is collected from statistical yearbook of Jakarta and Indonesia and East Nusa Tenggara. Later, I will tell you why I put East Nusa Tenggara. But basically, the whole data I obtained from this statistical yearbook that is published every year. And I use a software of Stata to analyze the statistical thing. This is the data that I use, and you can see here the policy packages which started in 1999. It will be effective in 2000, and then 2000 policy packages is effective in 2013, and motorcycle e-hailing services introduction in 2015 is effective in 2016. I use one year lag time. That is why the arrangement is like that. And in comparison, not only analyzing the condition in Jakarta, I also compare the Jakarta with East Nusa Tenggara. It's the least developed province in Indonesia, and they don't have any services of motorcycle e-hailing services. So I want to show you that for East Nusa Tenggara, there will be no difference with the forecasting. So on this segmented regression, R squared, the value of AIC, BIC, Portman Q-test, and Bartlett test is used to find the best model. And finally, I choose Jakarta J2 with the constant, and for East Nusa Tenggara, I choose with the null constant model. This is the summary of the correlation on each variable with motorcycle ownership. You can see here that only number of bus fleet that has significant correlation. It has positive correlation and significantly, while the others doesn't have any significant impact. But you can see the correlation between each variables. Motorcycle e-hailing services will reduce the number of motorcycle ownership. And the policy packages, sorry, I want to explain 1999 policy packages. So 1999 policy packages is the policy from government to enhance the automotive industry. So government wants to make the motorcycle production cost more competitive. So we expect that people will buy more motorcycle after the policy packages. While in 2012, the policy packages is set the minimum down payment of motorcycle ownership. So basically, before that, before the 2012 policy packages, so basically people can purchase in 0% down payment. So when government trying to set the policy packages in 2012, they increased the minimum down payment to 20 until 25% with installment scheme. So we expect to see the people delaying the purchasing of motorcycles by the policy packages in 2012. And this is the ARIMA model for forecasting. Again, I use AIC and BIC value with the portmanteau test to check white noise of residuals. So based on those value, I choose J2AI1, this one for Jakarta because it's only one option, and for East Nusa Tenggara, I choose the fourth model. As you can see here, this is the forecasted, the actual and forecasted number. The line here is Jakarta. The orange one is forecasted number, while the blue one is the actual number. Since the forecast is bigger than actual, we could conclude that there is some reduction of motorcycle happening from 2014 until 2019. But as we see here, the motorcycle e-hailing services actually introduced in 2015, which have effective impact in 2016. And why it's happened? So there's some unidentified factors occurred during this period and affect the number of motorcycle. And you can see also in here, in East of Nusa Tenggara Timur, I expect to see the same trend with actual and forecasted. But here you can see there's some increasing in motorcycle ownership. That means there is some unidentified factors change the number of motorcycle in East Nusa Tenggara Timur during 2016 until 2019. The conclusion is the number of bus fleet is the only one variable that has a significant effect, while rest of variables have insignificant impact to the motorcycle ownership in Jakarta, and only motorcycle e-hailing services and 2012 packages which have negative correlation to the number of motorcycle, while the rest of variables are positively correlated. And the policy implication is the government could subsidize e-hailing service tariff when it comes to support the transit mode. And in order to maintain the public transport cost to be more competitive compared motorcycle e-hailing services, the government should set the minimum fare for motorcycle e-hailing services. And then, in order to shift people from using private vehicles, in this case motorcycle, to public transport providers should create seamless experience with the public transport. So they need to work together collectively to increase the performance and to make people choose public transport than motorcycle. And government also should regulate the maximum number of drivers circulating in specific area. So the government should work closely with transport network company like Gojek and Uber to limit the drivers in the saturated market. So it will reducing the number of motorcycles. And to mitigate congestion caused by the underlying behavior of motorcycle motorists. So basically, the driver always stop in the road and make a congestion. And government and the TNC should create like parking pockets, so it will reduce the congestion. And the last, at the micro level, the higher of TNC will reduce the need of parking in each building. But in the macro level, maybe TNC will reduce the need of space for road, let's say. So the potential benefit of space efficiency can be allocated to increasing the housing needs. Those implications oblige the government to regulate a more compact and high density land use policy, which the NC can optimize to create a more affordable settlement area. Thank you for your attention and good luck for your proposed dissertation topic.
Thank you very much, Hassel. Are there any quick questions for Hassel before we move on and whilst we change over to the next speaker?
I understand, one of the major factors contributing to the motorcycle ownership in Jakarta is the financing, the way the financing works. As I see is, you pay some 500,000 Indonesian rupiah as a down payment, and then you can drive off the vehicle. So can you comment on this factor?
Basically, this factor is the most influencing actually, because as you said, with like only one, let's say 300,000, I can bring motorcycle home, and it's very crazy, It's cheaper than buying heater or buying something. It's motorcycle, and it circulates in the city, and it makes a congestion, and that is why the government want to limit in the 20 until 25%. But I think those number is still not enough to hold the motorcycle purchase. Government has to find another way to make people shift from motorcycle to public transport. So the limitation of down payment is not enough actually.
Yep, go ahead.
Similar. Okay. Thank you.
You mentioned that air quality was particularly bad in Jakarta.
Air quality.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So on that thought, what is the average distance that someone is taking a trip on one of these motorcycles, and is there a trend in a movement in micro mobility, such as your e-scooters or e-bikes, for that matter?
So the first question, Jakarta, the average of people using motorcycle is about 20 until 30 kilometers per day, because they're more comfortable to use motorcycle. I have a friend. I said that, are you not tired of using motorcycle with that long distance? No, because it's faster. I don't need to be in crowded area with the other people and in the train car, and I think it's faster, cheaper. That is why people tend to use motorcycle. And scooter and e-scooter,
yeah,
we once have that, but unfortunately we had an accident. Some some people dead with cars while using that, and the government wants to delay the regulation to make it legal to be in the road, unfortunately.
Ross, you have a question?
Just a very quick one. Is there any desire to have, for instance, where you have good public transport, exclude motorcycles from that area, and then have motorcycles serving areas which are not served by public transport as a mode, like, or complement each other essentially? Is there a desire for that? Because I feel like that would be a good compromise between both worlds.
So for public transport provider actually are asked by the government to integrate the ticketing, to integrate the roads. Later, what you are asking about will be explained by Farhan. Farhan is explaining that one of the policy in Jakarta about public transport and integrating it as a mobility as what?
Service.
Huh?
Mobility as a service.
Mobility as a service. Yeah, Farhan will elaborate more on that. But for
We have
But-
integrated modes and integrated
yeah,
decision.
integrated coursework. Yeah, but for the TNC, from the supply aspect, I think the TNC is still opening the driver. That's what I criticize about. And we should limit, and government has to have a bolder action in order to optimize this situation. I mean, thank you so much.
Okay, we've got three more questions. Are we okay to take questions and then for Dottie to start? Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, so question there.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for the presentation. I'd like to know how applicable is your lesson models and the conclusion to, the recommendations to other countries that have similar, motorcycle issues, like India, Nigeria, and some of the rest.
Yeah, unfortunately, the situation is is a very unique, because in the previous study made by my supervisor, his research showing that the motorcycle inherent services increase the number of motorcycles. So my finding will not be suitable in your country, let's say, because it influenced by the GDP per capita, maybe the expenditure or something. Because when we compare with the Bangladesh case, the opportunity is accepted as a new job opportunity, because previously motorcycle is considered as informal transportation, and with this technology thing, it is accelerated. But in a more developing country, it is considered as a job opportunity. So people tend to buy more motorcycle, while in Indonesia, the number of motorcycle is already sufficient enough to fulfill the demand of motorcycle here in Indonesia. So maybe it cannot be used in other countries. So we need to research deeply, case by case.
Thank you. Any other? Yes?
So you showed that the actual number of vehicle ownership, motorcycle ownership has decreased till 2019.
Yeah.
And does it relate that the public transport system is improving in Indonesia, or it's or in the Jakarta region, or it's like, yeah?
Yeah. So basically, the indicator that showing the reduction in motorcycle is actually, we can see from the sales. The sales of motorcycle is reduced significantly during that period. And from the analysis, it is caused by the slowing down of global economic growth and the reduce of people's purchasing power. So that's what makes the people reducing the number of motorcycles, but it's not the sign of better public transport, unfortunately.
I think we'll take one more question and then move on, yeah?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. It was very good. And I was wondering if you said that by making your calculations, you take into account the government papers. And I am wondering if you take into account the illegal usages of motorcycles or unregistered motorcycles. Maybe is that a limitation of your work or not? I was just wondering that.
Oh, so for the motorcycle data, actually I obtained from registered motorcycle. So it is obtained by police in my country. So the police report the number of registered motorcycle. So I use that number. So basically, it has a limitation, of course, because on like 5 years before, they report in more detail. I mean, that in 1 year, let's see, I will have data of motorcycle emission number, and also the number of re-registered vehicle, because in Indonesia every 5 years motorcycle or cars need to be re-registered. So if the user or the owner don't pay the tax and re-register their vehicle, they will be considered as inactive vehicles, and they will be eliminated from the list. So that's my limitation actually.
Okay, I think we need to thank Hathel for that. see